we studied till here the role of management. We understood what market theory is, that when the management is more reactive, we call it as market theory, and what planning and control theory is, when the management is more proactive and has an active role in the planning function, the strategy of the business and things like that. It's called as a planning and control theory. That's what we studied, and this is where we stop. So what we'll be studying is the strategic plans. Okay, strategic plans are of different type. Okay, and we'll study that a little bit in detail little later. But what is basically a strategic plan? A strategic plan is a long-term plan. It runs into many years. So you're not planning for the near future. You're looking at a long distance. You're looking at a marathon. It is not a 100-meter sprint. It is a marathon you're looking at. You're looking at, how your business is going to evolve over, the next 5 years, 10 years. They understand, or they look into the future and say, this is the place where we want to be, and how do we progress to reach there. That is a strategic plan. Okay, and it is done at a very high company. So most of the time it is the executives and the senior management which takes decision on what is the plan going to be, how is it going to be put into place, how is it going to be executed, what are the funds or the resources required for it, and all of that. A strategic plan is more directional rather than operational. You're not worried about what is happening on a daily basis. Okay, you're looking at long term. So you're looking at giving instructions, more of directions to the actual people who do the operations or who run the business on what they need to do, so that the business as a whole to achieve its goal, it's able to achieve its mission. Okay, it also focuses sometimes on capacity. Okay, what will we need to be able to do in future? So why do we talk about capacity? Because you're talking about what kind of product to produce, how much to produce, okay, and where to sell. So when you look at all of this, capacity also comes into the picture. It also takes into the picture the competitor, what they are producing and how much they are producing. It takes into picture the entire market and what is it that the market can absorb. So based on which you can also plan your capacity or your production level. Okay, and these are all long-term business plans. Like I mentioned earlier, it's all long-term. They're not short-term business plans. It's not about today or tomorrow. You're looking at long-term. You're looking at how to achieve your missions, or your organization's mission and values or goals and aims. Okay, so you're looking at the long term. So you're not looking at, am I going to make profit today? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, it depends on a lot of factors. But you're definitely looking at long term and saying that in the long term, I want at least a return on investment of, let's say, 8%. So in the long run, you're looking at how do I achieve that? Do I need to borrow? Do I need to, issue equity? What do I do? How do I fund my business? How much of investment should go into the factory? How much of investment should go into marketing? All these are long-term decisions. Okay? So you're looking at long-term business plans. So strategic plan is basically everything about long-term. These are some of the points which are covered in strategic plans. There is also something called as intermediate plans. Okay, they are between short-term and long-term plans. Anything between short-term and long-term. So it's usually more than 1 year, but less than 5 years. Usually, I'm saying, again, I'm generalizing. I'm not saying specific. It is usually. Okay, they're designed to implement specific parts of a strategic plan. So what happens here is you have a long-term plan. Okay, so you understood that your long-term return on investment has to be minimum 8%. Okay, that you have understood. Now, how are you going to get there to get a return of 8%? So in the short term, to get a return of 8%, it would mean that you have to leverage your business. That is, you have to use debt to increase your sales. Okay, so that you can generate additional cash flow, and that cash flow can be re-flowed into the business. So that could be a intermediate plan. So in the next 3 years, I need to generate X amount of cash flow, which can be flowed back into the business, and then it will start giving me returns, which will give me a desired return on my investment. So you will look at intermediate plans. These are usually done by the senior management and the middle management. Why? Because they are looking at how to generate the returns. In the example I gave, they're looking at how to generate the returns. So they're looking at the ground realities now. Okay, they're looking at what is the competition, what is the profit margin, what is the investment. They are looking at the ground realities now. Okay, so that is usually done by the upper and the middle managers, because the executive, the board, and the senior management is looked at setting the direction. They give instructions saying that this is where we want the business to be in the next 5 to 8 years time. Okay, you tell us how do we achieve that. So a plan is put into picture, a plan is put into place, or a plan is prepared by the upper and the middle managers. It is presented to the senior management. The senior management goes through that, and then they either approve it or they ask them to revise the plan. So intermediate plans are usually more than 1 year but less than 5 years. And then you have short-term plans. Okay, short-term plans are usually less than 1 year. It could be on a day-to-day basis, it could be on a week-to-week basis, it could be on a month-to-month basis, it could be on a quarter-to-quarter, but usually on the whole it is less than 1 year. Okay, and they are usually operational plans, so it is about running the business on a daily basis. Routine actions which are needed, routine plans which are needed to run the business on a daily basis. And they're developed from the tactical plans. What are tactical plans? They are strategic plans which trickle down to the floor level, and they use that to roll it up back again to the strategic level. They see whether their plans or their plans or the strategy fits into the organization's plans and strategies or not. Do the goals or do the actions fit into the company's mission or not? So those are all looked into in the short term plans. They focus more on implementing the tactical plan to achieve operational goals. So they really look at the day to day. Tactical is usually you know um, uh, at the ground level. Tactical basically means at the ground level. Okay, so you are taking a decisions on the go. You are taking the decisions as you progress on a daily basis. It is on the go. So when you start off, you might look. You might have thought that your competitor is going to be very complacent in reacting to a price cut. Okay, but suddenly you realize that no, your competitor is aggressive. When you reduce your price, the competitor is also aggressive. So at that point you have to take an immediate decision on the ground. You have to take a decision: should you further reduce your price or not? How do you maintain your profit margin? So on the go you have to take a decision. Those are tactical plans. But at the same time, what you will bear in mind is, are you meeting the operational goals of your department or your business? Okay, so if the operational goal for your department or business has been set that you need to have a residual income of X amount of dollars. Okay, so if you reduce the price further in relation to your competitors' actions, okay, will you be able to meet operation goals because your sales will go up? All those are tactical plans. They are at the ground level. On the go, they are made. Again, they are made by the middle and the lower management. So as you see, as the duration of the plan decreases, okay, so we talked about long-term plan, which is at the board level and the senior management level, which is of more than 5 years and goes up to even 10 years, 12 years, 15 years also. Then we talked about middle intermediate plans. Okay, so you see the level of hierarchy in the management came down to upper management and the middle level management. Okay, and we talk about the short term plans. Now you look at the hierarchy, it comes down to middle management and the lower management. Always remember, there is always an overlap of these managements, because there is the supervisory level. For the lower management, the middle management is the supervisory level. So there will always be an overlap between the short term and the intermediate and the long term. Okay, so these are some things you have to bear in mind. So middle these plans, short term plans, are usually made by middle and lower level management, people who are actually involved in the day to the running of the business. Most of the time it will be them. Okay, and these are the primary basis for the budget. Most of the budget starts from here. Okay, they will tell you, okay, first, if you are given us a production target of 100,000 units, for 100,000 units, this is the raw material we need, this is the labor we need, these are the overheads we will incur. So it'll always start from the base. Okay, and it'll keep rolling up, and you will have a organizational level budget afterwards, because then all the departments will give their own inputs to the budget, and you will have a consolidated budget for the entire business. Okay, but it always starts from the ground level. It always starts from the basis, because what you want to achieve comes from the top, but how to achieve starts from the bottom, and what is the requirement to achieve those, it starts from the bottom. It tells you what are the raw materials, what are the goods, what are the labor requirements, how many people do you need, what are the overheads you're going to incur, what type of machinery you need, all starts from the ground level. So those are short term plans, right? There are other types of plans also: single purpose plans, standing purpose plans, contingency plans. Single purpose plans are more like projects. Okay, so your planning is limited to a particular goal, only a specific goal. Okay, it is very specific. Those are called as single purpose plans. Standing purpose is like a rolling plan. Okay, it keeps changing based on how the plan is progressing. Usually, let's say you review it every quarter, and based on the quarter you keep changing the plan. It's also called as a rolling purpose plan. Contingency plans are emergency plans. So should an emergency happen, should an untoward incident or an event happen, how would the plan be put into place? How would you react to it? Yes, it is more as per the requirement, right? Single purpose is more as per the requirement. Okay, contingency plan is planning for untoward events. Okay, what if there is a fire? What if there's floods? Or what if there's a lockdown? There's a strike. So those are the types of things you look at in a contingency planning. We'll start with strategic planning. The biggest, or the most important topic under planning for us is strategic planning. Okay, so we'll start with strategic planning. It's basically long-term planning. Strategic planning is basically long-term planning. Okay. Okay, what is strategy? A strategy is a set of actions taken by managers of a company to increase the company's performance. Okay, the strategy making process includes both strategy formulation and strategy implementation. Okay? So you are actually looking at increasing the performance of the company. It's always about increasing and reaching a higher level. It's always it's not always about reaching a higher level. It's always being a better organization. Okay, sometimes it could be that you are already at a very high level, but you want to become a lean organization. So your strategy could be that you want to become a lean organization, which means hiring of non-performing companies. Strategy formulation is the process of selecting strategy. So it would have looked at multiple options. Okay, you look at multiple options and then choose the option which is the best for your business. Strategy implementation is the process of putting the selected strategy into action. So you looked at multiple options, you chose the option which is the best for your business, and then you start putting that into action. That is strategy implementation. Okay, it involves designing, delivering, supporting products, improving efficiency, effectiveness, operation, designing the organization structure, control systems, culture, finance, budgets, forecasts. Okay, customers, clients, marketing. It's complete. Everything is almost touched upon it. That is why strategy is at a very high level, and that is why it is so encompassing. It covers a lot of departments, covers a lot of divisions. Okay, that's about strategy. So what are the strategic planning process? So there was a certain way of planning or strategizing, what we call as strategizing. Okay, so there are 5 clear steps in strategizing. One is defining the company's mission and goals. So we are talking about company here. Now a strategy could also be for a particular business. It could also be for a particular department. Okay, irrespective of what it is, whether it is a department, a business, the entire organization, the entire enterprise, whatever it is, there has to be a mission and there has to be a goal. Then only you will be able to plan a strategy. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a mission, if you don't have an aim, then you will not be able to plan a strategy. Okay, you cannot plan a strategy saying that okay, fine, I want to be uh, I want to have a good market share. Okay, a good market share has to be defined. What do you define by a good market share? Do you define a good market share as a 30% market share, a 50% market share, or 80% market share? You need to define, okay, what your goal is. Then only you will be able to strategize and plan according to that. That's the first part. Define the company's mission and goals. Okay. Analyze external competitive environment to identify opportunities and threats. Okay. So there is an analysis of an external competitive environment. How many people are there in the market? So if my aim is to become, capture a good market share, how many, players are there in the market? How many suppliers are there in the market? What is the average price in the market? Okay, how much does each competitor have? What is the competitor share in the market? Okay, are their products similar or are their products different? So you will have to look at about all of this. So you will analyze external competitive environment to identify what are the opportunities, and also along with it What are the problems or threats you will face? So you will analyze both. Okay, not only uh, the threats, but also the opportunities which will be available to you. Along with that, you will also analyze your internal operating environment. You will identify your strengths, weakness, and limitations. So what we call a SWOT analysis. Okay, strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. So all these are covered. Okay, so some of it might be internal, some of it might be external. So you'll do a SWOT analysis. Combine these two, you'll do a SWOT analysis. Analyze internal operating environment to identify what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are your constraints. Okay, what are your limitations? So your product might be very good, but if you have a production capacity constraint, then you won't be able to capture your market because the demand is high, but you're not able to supply in the market, right? So you will identify all of those, and then you will formulate your strategy that is consistent with the organization's mission and goals, will optimize the organization's strength and correct its weaknesses and limitations for the purpose of taking advantage of the external opportunities while countering external threats. So you will do SWOT analysis. Okay, so strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So, but whatever strategy you plan, okay, whatever strategy you adopt, it has to be in line. It has to be in sync with the larger goal of the organization, larger goal of the business. So you might want to be a market leader, okay, but to be a market leader, but the organization's goal, okay, the entire business's goal is to be price competitive. Okay, so for you to be a market leader, you might not be price competitive, or you because that particular market is dependent on quality. We were talking about your strategy aligning with the entire business strategy, and I was talking about being a price competitive. What if the entire business's goal is to be competitive, and the market you're operating in is quality conscious? Okay, so if you have to achieve a higher quality, then obviously there will be an increase in price because you are not going to be that price competitive with the quality. It could be possible, but it will be a challenge. Okay, so you have to look at what is the goal. So is it that you are in the wrong market? Do you need to explore and find markets which are price sensitive or price competitive, so that you can be a price competitive leader in that market? So you might want to relook at your strategies, relook at your plans. Okay, at the end of it, all of it has to fit into the entire business or the enterprise's goal. Okay, and then based on all of this, you will develop and implement your chosen strategy. So you have decided that okay, this is not the market you want to be in, you want to be in a different market. Okay, so you might explore the market, you might identify a new market and then implement strategy in that new market. So these are the points in strategic planning. So defining company's mission and goal, analyzing external competitive environment, analyzing internal competitive environment, formulating the strategy, and then developing and implementing the chosen strategy. Okay, so we'll study all of these in detail. So what is defining mission and goals? That's the first step in the strategic planning process. Okay, it's the first step in the strategic planning process. So what is defining mission and goal? Set the more global goal. Sorry, set the more global goals of the company. The reason the company exists, like somebody said, the very reason. What is it? What does it want to be? Where does it want to go? Okay, if we do not know where we are supposed to be going, we will probably not get there. Nor will we know, even if we get there, that we have already reached our goal. We need to know our mission, vision, values, goals. These are called collectively, these are called mission statement. Okay. So you need to know what is the purpose of the organization. Okay. Basically, mission is nothing but the purpose, the aim, the goal. Okay, that's the mission of the organization. What is its mission? What is its values? What are its goals? What are its objectives? All of these put together is called as a mission statement. The mission statement. Okay, the company's mission statement provides the context within which strategies will be formulated. Okay, a statement of the company's reason to be, its vision or statement of a desired future state, a statement of the organization's values, and a statement of its major goals. So if you see, it covers all of this. the reason, okay, the value, the objective, okay, and how it wants to reach there. What it wants to adopt, okay, what are the steps it wants to adopt. Okay, that is all put together, and that is called as a mission statement. Mission statement could be one line, it could be one word, it could be anything. Okay, but if you analyze or dive deep into the mission statement, okay, you will understand all of these. Okay, what is the reason the company is in existence? What is it wants to do? Okay, statement of a desired future state. What does it want to do? Where does it want to reach? Okay, statement of the organization's values. What is it believes in? What is it you know in imbibes to achieve its goal, and what are its goals? All of this put together is mission statement. Reason to be. So we'll analyze each of these in detail. Okay, company's vision, company's values, and goals. So we are going down deeper now. Okay, reason to be. It needs to be customer centered rather than product centered. So your reason should always be customer centered, not product centered. Your reason should not be that I want to make the best product in this particular field. Your reason should be, okay, will the customer buy this best product? Okay, it should be customer centered. In other words, the company should be in business not to sell widgets, but to satisfy its customers' needs for the benefits that the company can supply through its widgets. Okay, an example they're using is widgets. In other words, the company should be in business not to sell just widgets. So I just manufacture a widget and I sell it. Okay, that should not be the aim. But the aim should be that the customer's needs for the benefits that the company can supply to its widgets. How will the customer benefit by using the company's widgets? Okay, that should be the aim. What is our business? What will it be? What should it be? In answering the questions, they should think in terms of customer. So your strategy should be customer focused rather than product focused. What customer groups are being served? So am I producing for the mass market or am I producing for the niche market? So it is a broad thing. It's a very wide or I would say high level uh, understanding of what is the reason the company wants to be there. Okay. Then comes the company's vision. The vision is what the company would like to achieve. It should be challenging. Okay, vision should always be challenging. It should be achievable, but not very easily achievable. It should not also be improbable. It's not that it cannot be achieved at all. I cannot say that my company's vision is to bring the moon down to the earth. Okay, that's impractical, right? But on the other hand, if I say my company's vision is to build a spaceship which can take people to the moon and become reusable, not a one-time spaceship, but a reusable spaceship which can take people to the moon and come back and then again, take another set of people to the moon. So that could be a company's vision, which is challenging. Okay, till now nobody has done it. It is challenging, but at the same time, it is also achievable. It is not that it cannot be achieved. It is achievable. Okay. So the vision is what the company would like to achieve. It should be challenging and it should be achievable. Good vision statement should challenge the company by stating an ambitious future state that will motivate employees at all levels and drive the strategies that the company's management will formulate and implement in order to achieve the vision. So it should be such that, like I mentioned, it should be achievable, not improbable. It should be achievable, but at the same time challenging. Okay. Ambitious future state, something which the company wants to be, the position the company wants to be in. So this will motivate employees, okay, because it is achievable. It is not impractical. It is achievable. It will motivate employees, and at the same time, it will drive the strategies of the company. The third, company's values. After the vision comes the company's values. How managers and employees should behave and do business. And the company's values are the foundation of its organizational culture. It must not only be words, but also in actions. The company's values are the foundation of its organizational culture. Determining major goals. Major goals must be clearly stated in specific terms. This prevents interpretation of objective by employees. So if you leave the interpretation open, if you leave your goal, very vague, ambiguous, it will be interpreted in different ways by different people or different departments, and eventually the entire business or the enterprise's goal will not be met. Okay. Additionally, goals must be communicated to all individuals who will be impacted by them. So, right from the top to the bottom, okay, people who need to know what the company's goal is and how it impacts them should be aware of what the company's goals is and how it impacts them. It's important to do that. Individuals in the organization need to accept the goal. So, like I said, you should not set a goal that, I will bring the moon down to earth. The company's goal is to bring the moon down to earth. People will not accept that goal. They will say, no, the company has gone mad. People sitting at the top are, insane. How can you bring down the moon? Okay. They will say, "Yeah, insane." On the other hand, if you set a goal that I want to develop a spacecraft which is reusable, which can take people to the moon, come back, and then reuse and take another set of people to the moon, they'll say, yes, there is a lot of investment in current capacities to take people to the moon. So if we can develop something like that, it will be very highly beneficial. They will accept that as a challenge, okay, and they will work towards that goal. Though it is not possible for everyone in the organization to agree with every goal, it is essential that the goals be clearly understood and communicated, allowing people to address whatever concerns they have about the goals. Okay, whether they agree with it or not, all employees need to work towards accomplishing the company's goals. So sometimes some of the companies may not accept, may not agree to the goal. Okay, but if they want to work in the company, they have to accept it and work. Okay, because the goal has been given a lot of thought and then put into place. There are people who have, looked at the pros and cons of fixing that goal or fixing that aim of the business or the organization before they roll it down to everyone. Okay? And they would have also made some consultations. Most of these decisions, which are very high level, also involve some external consultation. They look at a lot of other things. They look at people who have experience in that field, people who have experience in setting those goals and ensuring those goals are achieved. They hire those kind of people. So somebody, at a factory level worker might not agree to it. Does not mean that the goal is not achievable or, is irrelevant. If that factory worker does not agree and if he wants to continue to working, he has to accept that goal and continue to work, or is free to go. That's how it works. Okay. So determining the major goals. Clearly, it should not be ambiguous, it should not be vague. It should not be open for interpretation. Okay. And it should be communicated to all the people who need to know about that. Plus, it should also be acceptable. So what is the common theme of primary goals? Most companies' primary goal is to maximize shareholder returns. Maximizing shareholder returns is accomplished through high profitability and sustained profit growth. Basically, you want to reward your investors. How can you reward your investors? By maximizing the profitability and having sustained growth. Therefore, most companies' goals include goals for profitability and profit growth. So most of the companies' goals will be to be profitable and to grow well. However, pursuit of current profit should not be permitted to lead management actions that will be detrimental to long-term profitability and profit growth. So you're not looking at short-term profits. Okay? Your short-term profits should not be at the cost, or it should not be at the sacrifice of the long-term goal of the company or the long-term profitability of the business. Okay. For instance, cutting expenditure for research and development, marketing, and new capital investment will increase short-term profits, but it will do so at the expense of long-term profits. Okay? So if you say, I'm not going to invest much in research and development, marketing, or capital expansion, okay, then you are going to increase the short-term profit. In the 2-3 years or 1 year, your profitability will go up. But because you're cutting down on your expansion plans, you won't be able to expand into other markets due to supply constraints. That will affect long-term profitability. Okay. Also, too much pressure to increase current profits can lead managers to take actions that are unethical, such as misrepresenting the true performance of the company to shareholders and others. So if you stress on short-term profitability, if you say every quarter I need to see a profit growth of 20%. So annually you're looking at a 80% profit growth. Okay, you're putting too much of pressure on the current profits. This can lead to unethical means to be adopted by the managers, and it could also lead to misrepresenting the true performance of the company. So they might cook up the books. They might, use unethical means to show higher profits. They might cut corners. Lot of things can happen. Okay, and this will not be in the benefit of the shareholders of the company, the investors of the company. Okay, I think I will stop here because the time is exceeded. I will stop here and we'll continue from here, in tomorrow's class. Character